Go back into session.
Make that motion.
We got a motion by Barb Delaney to go back into session. And a second.
Yeah. I'll second that.
I got a second by Dean Morelli. Press that button. All right, all in favor to go back into session? Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Everybody should have in their packet the minutes of the previous meeting of, I believe it was September 25th, 2017. So I can need a motion to accept the minutes.
Can you give me a minute, Mr. Lower?
Sure. I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize for you didn't get your packet in time. We did mail on Thursday. Postal services is always the best.
Well, like Christine says that she will start to email.
Yes,
Did I get mine?
You didn't get yours today either?
No?
Really?
No, I still haven't got it. I checked my mail.
Yeah.
Hard copy right there.
I did indicate to her to email it with some.
Okay.
Just for a minute, if we could, I want to make sure everybody can hear us out there. Do I need to turn the mics up or anything?
Turn it up, please.
Everybody okay?
Turn it up, please.
Turn it up a little bit?
Thank you. I've been 8.
All right. Hopefully that's better. And I will speak louder too.
Thank you.
All right, I do need a motion to accept the minutes of last month.
I'll make that motion.
I got a motion by Barb Delaney.
I'll second it.
And a second by Dean Morelli. Are there any questions of the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much.
What did you?
Yes.
Next on the agenda would be the approval of the bills. We have the bills of $30,520.92. I do need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
I got a motion by Barb Delaney,
I'll second it.
and a second by Dean. Any questions of the bills?
Yeah, I have a question for, under the bills to be approved. I noticed that we have 2 different attorneys with 2 different charges. One was for the Rathburn law firm and then Mueller. This is strictly for the water board.
Right.
I don't recall Mr. Mueller being at last month's meeting, though.
He was, I don't believe he was at last month's meeting. He was at the previous meeting to talk about working this out, how we're going to get both the town and whether we're going to go with the board. We had a meeting with both attorneys to talk how to move forward with the future.
Okay. Then, with that being said, were we going to start having attorneys at legal representation at this board meeting moving forward?
I think we should at this point, from this point forward, because tonight I didn't expect this. I was just paying the bills. I hate to bring an attorney out for $200 just to sit and not do anything. That's why I didn't really prepare for it tonight, but I will in the future. Moving forward. Any other questions for the bills?
Yeah, I just had a question again about the city of Joliet.
Yeah.
Treatment, were they not, the bill wasn't sent, or?
They changed your billing cycle again,
Okay.
and we did not get the one, so you're gonna see two next month.
Yeah, so that, yeah, you mentioned something about being low.
Yeah.
We got to be compared next month, it'll be a little bit higher because we have 2 months of Joliet sewage treatment. All right, any other questions and bills?
The city of Lockport, we have previous balance, I'm assuming that was the previous month, was $1,065. And this month's amount to is $6,102. Is there a reason for such a big increase? I'm not sure. And I'm saying, again, I'm sorry, it's first time through this, so. It seems like the last month was $1,065, and this month is $6,100.
1,065, current charge is 7,000. Where do you see 1,061?
Well, previous balance too, so I'm assuming that was,
That's a negative.
oh, negative.
Negative
Okay, sorry. So we overpaid last.
So, that's what we're paid.
Right.
So they deducted it from the
Okay.
7,167.
I gotcha.
No, the negative on it, what you see, they pay us back for SOS Village. We used to bill them, and they billed us. So what they do is then credit us back. It's a SOS Village.
SOS Village is within the city of Lockport.
Okay.
They don't have the sewer lines out there, so they use our water and sewer.
Okay.
So we have an arrangement for they pay us back.
Okay.
Any other questions for the bills? Seeing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Ron Alberico?
Yes.
Craig Bickett?
Yes.
Barbara Ryan?
Yes.
Dean Morales?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda will be citizens wishing to address the board. I do want to let the citizens know that we do have a 3-minute window for each person to talk. If everybody wants to talk on the same subject, I would ask that you have one person get up and talk rather than every person getting up and saying the same thing. We would like to limit it to a half hour for all to be said and done. So I will go ahead and welcome anybody who wants to come up. Please just give us your name.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Do you have agendas with what we could have some agendas?
Do you, I don't have any. Like I said, I was not prepared for this big of a meeting. It's usually nobody's here. We have, you want to take a minute to run and go make some copies? I guess
Yeah, I
we
can
could.
run and go make copies.
Hey, Ron, I got a suggestion. If they're all going to be speaking on the same topic, and they have one person that is well versed on the topic instead of having, other people afford their time to the one person.
Well, I would give, if one person wants to speak, I'll give them 5 minutes.
Petition, Ron, I wanted to speak on behalf of the group.
Okay, you're
And I
speaking
have
on,
all of our questions.
all right. Well,
Did you want to give
You
her
want
a
the
minute to
agenda
go through
first?
agendas? Because she'll make copies of the agenda. Yeah, Chris, why don't you make copies of the agenda?
Okay.
I counted 20.
There's the tape still rolling.
okay.
Run it and make
I would ask you to speak into the mic so we can make sure we hear you and everything. Again, just give us your name and please talk. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Belinda Heron. I am the acting president of the Fairmount Community Partnership Group. And we are here tonight because we're seeking information about some major issues that have directly impacted the Fairmount community with respect to the Lockport Township Fairmount Water District. These issues have directly affected our pocketbooks in the form of our water bills. We recently learned that there was a lawsuit judgment against Lockport Township and the Lockport Township Utility Board and we would like to address how this judgment is impacting the water-paying residents of the Fairmont community. I have quite a few questions, Ron. I don't know if you want me to give you the questions so I can have them on record, and you answer them as we go. I'm not sure what's the most effective way to go.
Well, to be honest with you, the time for you to speak, you could speak. As far as me answering questions, I may not have the answers and all the paperwork right in front of me, obviously. So I will try to answer what I can. Otherwise, I will get you the information as soon as I can.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, in researching the lawsuit, is it true that there was a judgment against both Lockport Township and the Utility Board for a breach of contract with Aqua Service Management? And this was in the amount of $525,000 plus court costs of $100,000, I believe.
You're correct at the price of $525,000, I believe, was the judgment. As far as who it was against, I guess I would have to ask the attorney legally. I don't want to misrepresent anything or but it was against a contract against the Water Utility Board in the subcontract. That was happened back in, I believe, 2000, 2001.
Okay, but the judgment just came down February 2016, correct?
Yeah, it just came down.
Litigated for 16 years.
Yes.
So the total amount of that judgment was $525,000. And how are you dealing with the court costs of $100,000? We're trying to figure out how much of this are we going to have to pay back.
Well, the water board has to pay all that. We have to pay. We lost.
And when you say the water board, you were quoted.
Utility judgment was against the utility board, so yes, we do have to pay. Yes.
You're quoted here saying we paid $525,000 out of the town fund, and the water department will pay back the town fund. No legal fees came out of the town fund. It's our water bill. It's out of water bill revenue collected. So the money will be coming out of the bills that will be paid?
That's the way I understand it, yes.
Okay, and is it true that you all collect $5,000 at each meeting? That you authorize a $5,000 reimbursement to the town fund?
Yes.
And can you tell me how that $5,000 is distributed among the residents that's paying the bill?
It was the board's decision to each month put it on our agenda to pay it back $5,000 if this board feels we've had a month that we can afford. If we have a lot of water main breaks, we'll deter it to the next month. So it comes out of the water bills.
Because I looked at the minutes from January to August, and if there was an authorization for every month, there was one month where instead of saying reimbursement, we simply said paid $5,000.
I'm sorry.
I said there was only one set of minutes that indicated that you didn't do a reimbursement.
We did, I think it's in every month that we, it'll be in the minutes in every month. It should be.
Well, there was only one set of minutes, and I can go back and pull it if I need to, where you didn't call the reimbursement. I don't know if that was just a
What we called it?
Right. Each time you go back and note your minutes, it's always, in old business, you'll say, the board approved a payment, parentheses, reimbursement to the town fund in the amount of $5,000. And 1 month, that's not how you refer it to it.
It's just, it's been paid every month. I mean,
Right, so you just said that unless there are no funds available because of the water main breaks, you will reimburse it each month.
we get each month, we'll reimburse.
And what we looked at is, if you were to reimburse this $5,000, it's gonna take over 8.5 years.
Right.
So that means for 8.5 years, we'll be paying for the contract that was breached, plus the contract that's in force right now.
Right.
So we're paying double. Okay?
I don't believe you're paying double.
Well, aren't we paying for the contract that's in place with 13 Construction
Yes, yes,
and Utility Management? That's in place right now.
Right.
So we're paying that plus we're paying the breach contract without.
That's not, we're not paying for the breach of contract.
We're paying for the lawsuit.
We're paying for the judgment of the
Right, the
courts.
judgment was for the breach
We-
contract.
You know, I wish there was a way we didn't have to pay the judgment. We brought it to the Supreme Court. We have to.
But in essence, what's happening is we're paying for that old contract and the current contract.
But it's not an old contract. It's a judgment. We're paying for a judgment, and we're paying for the contract. Right.
And how did you decide, who has Lockport Township decided is responsible for paying the total cost of this judgment?
I'm sorry, what?
Who has Lockport Township decided is responsible for paying the total cost of this judgment? All of Lockport Township residents or only Fairmont water customers?
It's the understanding that it's the water district that has to pay the contract because it's the water district that breached the contract.
We didn't breach a contract.
The officials that were running it at the time did by the court's decision. Your representation did.
So the answer is that Fairmont alone is repaying this $525,000.
It's the water district, yes.
Can you tell me how many households are affected? I
There's about 800, there's over 800 houses, I believe, on our system.
I saw 866 or
866. That's over 800.
You know, it changes monthly, but
If
one or two
someone's
is.
cut off or moved out or something, okay. And how did you calculate the division of payments? And is it equally distributed among all Fairmont water customers, including residents on private wells, or are there customers or residents who are exempt?
Payments come out of the water, what we receive in revenue each month in the water bills. After we pay all our bills, to the electric, to the wells, to the contracts that we own, to the all our bills, all our monthly bills, and if we have, if we feel like there's extra money, we will approve the $5,000 pay back to the township.
So we're all seeing an increase in our water bills. So if you did predetermine,
We haven't raised the water bills because of this water, because of the loss. We never had.
so we've all seen an increase in our water bills.
There's an ordinance that was in place for, you might have to help me on this one. Chris, when was that ordinance placed?
No, so what is being every March first goes up 1%. The water rate goes up 5% every year. And the reason for the 5% is the city of Lockport and the city of Joliet, who treats the sewer, has a increase. So we have to cover a good portion of what they're increasing us by. But there's never nothing put on for a lawsuit.
Okay, I guess I don't understand. How are you reimbursing, how are you paying off this judgment without using our money?
Without
If it's
what?
not coming off of the water bill?
It is coming off the water bill now, okay? I don't know if you understand the whole way the system works.
No, I don't.
Okay, and then this is probably one of the big issues. Obviously, we supply the water, but Joliet City treats a portion of the sewage treatment, and Lockport City treats another portion. Depends on what side of Bruce Road I think you're on. Now, we pay them every month to treat the sewage, and every year they have an increase in their rates. In fact, Joliet City just sent us a 7% increase over the next 4 years for the treatment, and just theirs, let alone what Lockport's going to raise. Like I said, we charge a 5% increase every year. Now that doesn't even cover the 7% Joliet charges us. So like I said, we try to keep your rates down. I mean, I believe from what we see on the sheet, most of your water bills are probably around the $50 to $60 area. And I don't know if I'm wrong, if somebody wants to say something different, which, like I said, if you compare it to the city of Lockport, if you compare it to College View subdivision and any local area, I think that's pretty much in the ballpark. And what we're doing is we're paying off that lawsuit, which the Supreme Court ordered us to, with the money just coming from the bills without raising your bill. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to make it as easy as possible. We're not raising your rates. We're not increasing your bill to pay the lawsuit off. We're trying to do it without raising your rates. And right now, we've been able to do that. And it's because we try to keep an eye on, what bills we are paying, what we're covering. Like I said, if there's people here that want to complain about the rates, that's fine. But like I said, I would compare it to other jurisdictions locally, and I think we're all in the same ballpark. I know I'm a Lockport City resident, and I pay more right now than probably you guys are. I mean, it might be $10 a month or so, but I believe between my sewer and my water, I'm paying $80-some a month. So, like I said, I think we're in the ballpark as far as rates. And I know this lawsuit is a thorn in your side, and it's a thorn in our side. Unfortunately, when the Supreme Court rules against you and they order you to pay it, we have to pay it. So the best way we talked about it as a board was get the money from the township because we were ordered by the court to pay it. So we had to pay it somehow. So the township paid it off, and we're paying back the township fund through your water bills, and trying to make it as convenient as possible without raising your rates. Like I said, even though Joliet and Lockport raise their rates every year also, the sewage rates. So, we're trying to keep pace and, like I said, trying to make it as easy as possible on everybody,
Okay, before we proceed, I just want to say that I want to reserve the right to allow another resident to come up if we have more questions after I go over my questions.
If I understand that you were going to speak for everybody.
Well, I am speaking for the majority, but there could be some other questions that come up as a result of the answers we're receiving.
You know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to let you, I'll let another resident come up. I've got timer on here. I got about, I don't know, 7 more minutes I put on there. Let them speak. I'm not going to guarantee I get answers for everybody. Like I said, I was not prepared for this. I will entertain any questions you want. I can get you that information as soon as I can. All right?
The next question is, was Fairmount School affected by this lawsuit? No effect on their water bills?
Nothing.
No.
Nobody's rates should have went up because of that lawsuit, other than the 5% annual rate that comes into play once a year.
Okay. Also, there was a $10,000 application cost was noted in a July water board meeting minutes. Could you please explain what that was?
That's the Robinson Engineering firm that we put an application in for. It's basically a study that we're going to try to do. This water system, let me see if I can explain this. I'm not very good at explaining things a lot of times, but I'm going to try to explain the way this went down. Back in the 70s, the federal government came and said, we're putting a water system in Fairmount because they need a water system. They need water, and they still had outhouses and wells, and it was all in bad shape. The federal government came in and said, look, we're putting a water system in, and somebody has to sign the bonds to put this water system in. Since the city of Lockport wasn't in their jurisdiction, and the city of Joliet was not in their jurisdiction, they came to the township and said, you will sign the bonds. So we took out the bonds. And the idea was, and there's documentation from back then, that said, once the bonds are paid, then the city of Lockport will take over 40% of the water system, and the city of Joliet will take over 60% of the water system. Now, back then, in the 70s and early 80s, we couldn't make those payments, and we defaulted on those payments. And we went to the federal government and said, there's no way we can get this paid off. So the federal government said, we'll forgive you of those bonds, so we don't have to pay them back. We never had to pay them back. We've got the letter saying they're forgiven. So then we went to the city of Lockport and the city of Joliet and said, look, we're a township. We shouldn't be in the water business. We're not, we don't have a maintenance department with tractors that can fix the pipes. We're just a township. Why don't you guys take over the system like you promised? Well, they refused. So now, 45, 50 years later, we're still stuck in a water business that we really never wanted to be in the first place. It was forced upon us. And I think we have done a pretty admirable job at keeping it together and, keeping our bills low and keeping it running. It's actually profitable enough that we have some capital money in case of an emergency when the water lines break. But it is about a 45-year-old system, and those water lines are starting to get very deteriorated, and they're starting to break. And we're having more and more water main breaks. So we approached Robinson Engineering Firm to give us a study on what it would take to replace all our lines, get it all up and brand new and good, because they indicated to me that the Illinois EPA has historically low loans now at this point in time. We can get a loan. We need to borrow $10 million to do this project. We can get it at extremely low interest rates, and we can pay it off over a 30-year period. So that's what this study is about, to see if we can do this. See if the application will fit. It's $1,000 to have them go through all the paperwork to see if we can do this or not. That's what that $1,000 is.
Okay, my next question is, after the water management contract with Aqua was terminated at the end of 2000, who was handling the management of our water service between 2000 and 2006?
I believe it was MNC, but I was not here, to be honest with you. I wasn't here. You would have to go back in the records, but I believe it was a company called MNC.
Next question, what law firm advised you all to proceed with breaking the contract with Aqua?
You would have to talk to the person that was running the township at that point in time. Nobody advised me. I was not here. And I cannot speak for people that made decisions back 20 years ago or 10 years ago.
The attorney that was hired was Bradburn Law Firm out of Joliet. Now, I don't know who suggested them or requested them. I just know that they were the ones that handled the lawsuit.
Okay, back in May of this year, the Township Utility Board entered into two four-year contracts for water management of the Lockport Township Fairmount Water District, totaling $213,060 per year. And these two contracts, I believe, is with 13 Construction and Utility Management. We want to know, did you put this water management contract out to bid with a public notice?
No, it was under the, we did it this way because all we did was roll over the contract, the existing contract that we already had for the same amount of money, which was done exactly probably the same way since the water company was established back 45 years ago. It was the understanding from back then that it's a service and not a contract. It's a specialized service, and we didn't have to go to bid. So I just followed the same rule. And actually, when I took it over, when I became supervisor in 2009, the contract was already in effect, and I rolled it over. This is the second time I've rolled it over for the exact same amount. We have not increased that amount in the last 6 years. What happened before that, I can't tell.
And the reason that we're bringing up that question is because $84,000 a year just for someone to do administrative work seems like a lot.
I've had this argument before, and I'm not going to try to explain it again. There's a lot to taking care of this water system, more than I can do as a township supervisor. That's why we have to, and by the state statute, we can hire a company to do it. And that's what we've done. I have to have somebody run this water system that has licensed Now, I'm not licensed in water.
Now, do they have a plumber's license or a water operator's license?
Water operating license. You know what, I have to interrupt here. It's been 15 minutes already. I will entertain the rest of your questions. Please give it to me. I will give them back to you, I promise.
Okay, I also was wondering what does 13 Construction provide for $129,000 a year? They don't handle water main breaks, anything of that nature. They have to go to a subcontractor for $75 an hour. And I guess the concern is there a company that can do it all without subcontracting so much work out?
I'm unaware of that. That would be cheaper.
Seems like it would be a lot cheaper.
Sure.
I've been on the board for 4 years now, and like I said, so obviously a lot of this has been going on prior to me being here. And obviously, you know, costs and stuff like that is something that the board does look into and does consider. And I just, you know, when I look at it, I say, as long as, you know, we're offering a service, you know, if there's somebody here that says, you know, they've got a problem with the service, you know, they're not happy with, you know, their response time, or if they got a water complaint. Like I said, as far as like the water bill, I don't know if there's people here that complaining about their water bill. I don't know if you're here mainly complaining because you're unhappy with the service. Is that what it is? I mean,
number one concern was that we thought we were paying for 2 contracts.
okay, but it's not 2 contracts, like Ron explained. The contract, if you're talking about the lawsuit? Or
Yes.
Okay. Well, that was, like you said, that was a settlement by the court that we have to pay. Okay, and and it's not a contract. Like I said, they haven't worked for the township since 2000. That's when the lawsuit started. So the only contract we have now is utility management and 13 construction. And the price has been the same since I've been here, and I know Ron says it was even the same prior to that. So I know people might say, hey, that's a lot of money to run a water system. But, you know, what I've looked into, it might not be Aqua Management who used to run the system, I was told, was just as much money. You know, whatever breach of contract happened back then, I don't know the whole story because I wasn't here, but I was told that we were paying them the same amount. So if somebody could come forward and say, okay, this company is willing to come and run your system for this amount of money, we'll gladly look at it. The contract we have with these guys has a clause in it that we could give them a notice in 3 months to eliminate their contract with good reason. And a good reason would be, well, we got somebody that can do it cheaper. Now, if there's somebody here that knows somebody, you know, send the paperwork in and have them come to our meeting and explain, hey, I can do this, run this water department. Like I said, we've also, like Ron said, you know, when Lockport City and Joliet City said they would not take over the system, that we were going to still have to run it. You know, there are other options. You know, we can try to fight them and make them take it over. We can try to sell the whole system to like American Waters, which took over Homer Glen and stuff like that. But if you think your water bill is going to go down with one of them companies coming in and taking it over, I would look into that first. But if that's what the community wants, send in a suggestion. You know, like he said, we'll get out of the water business if we could come up with a better idea, which would help, you know, from you guys. Like I said, we don't want to sell the system to a company and your bill goes up to $100 a month, and then you're going to say, hey, why did the township do that? You know, like I said, running the business or running the water board, running the whole system for what we're charging for your bill, I think is reasonable. And if there's, you know, somebody that says it's not, then send in, you know, what you think is reasonable and some suggestions on how we should get to that point. You know, we'll be happy to listen to it.
I have another option. If the Fairmont community would like to pool in all their money and buy the system themselves, then it's your system. You run it exactly the way you want to.
College View subdivision
College View does
runs
that.
their own water system.
Where is College View?
It's Old Hampton Park,
Old
it's up
Hampton.
over by Lewis University.
Just north of.
You can pull them up on a line. They have board members. They just pay water bill. And I don't know if they're still on Well and Celtic or if they tapped into Romeo City or Romeo Village for the sewer. But I spoke to somebody over there. Their water bill is $35 a month. Now, like I said, my water bill through Lockport is about $32, and I believe yours is right now. It says $36. However, your sewage treatment is a lot cheaper than anybody else. Right now, only $15, which is something we might have to look into and try to balance that out a little bit more. Because like I said, Joliet City and Lockport every year raise their rates. So it's an upkeep on our part and try to keep your rate at a minimum. So, like I said, we would gladly listen to somebody who's got a better suggestion. Like I said, if you got a complaint about your service, you know, let us know. You know, we're here every month. There's people here every day, you know, that will gladly listen to you.
Okay, we understand there is an Illinois Township code with rules and regulations about who is supposed to serve on the utility board. And you all have said repeatedly that you really don't want the job.
I'm sorry.
We understand that there's an Illinois Township code with rules and regulations about who is supposed to serve on the utility board.
Right.
We understand that there is supposed to be a 5 people appointed with the approval of the township board. And we are requesting that all the persons appointed should be water-paying residents of Fairmont. And as water-paying residents, we have a right to say and have oversight in this process to ensure that the lawsuit judgments against the township that are paid for by water-paying customers does not happen again.
Okay. Thank you for your opinion. I appreciate that. All right.
We have already identified 3 Fairmont residents who would like to sit on that utility.
You could give them to me, but to be quite honest with you, it's a little early for that. We haven't even written the ordinances as to how it's going to be done. We're working on that right now.
Okay, I'm going to see if there's anyone in the audience that had some additional questions that you wanted to raise. All
right. Again, we spent about a half hour already on this. I appreciate your talking, but I would ask that we can continue our meeting at this point.
Okay. Did you want to say, Terry's going to say what?
Terry, good evening. Just a quick, to help you, Ron, I'm just
3 minutes,
hoping,
please.
listen to me. Can I speak?
Hang on.
So what I was hoping for was that, so you were going to go and do the ordinance and rewrite it and create the new ordinance. Well, that would be a perfect time to implement the members of the community into the law. See, I understand that what the law says, we read it front and back, we did, and I get it. And it makes sense, it really does. But Ron, I think the essence of that law was based on everybody in the township being on the water. Well, we have an exclusive situation here. Out of all 50, 60, 70,000 people in the township, we have 800 people on the water. So it just doesn't make sense for somebody on the other side of the river who's in Lockport Township. Why would they want to come and represent us 800 folks on our water board unless it was a political appointment? This is why having the residents on the board can eliminate any kind of what's happened in the past from happening again. Open and transparency is what we're asking for, and quite frankly, I think everybody on this board kind of wants the same thing.
I got a question.
Hold on, I'm not finished. So what we're not asking for anything other than what's normal in every other neighborhood, honestly. If we go board to board, you'll find that all of them are water recipients for 95% of them. Maybe you'll find a few. But we'll also have to put in effect that, don't forget, since 1994, this board has been illegal in the true essence of the law. So if we're going to have you appointing people all over again, are we going to end up with the same type of cronyism? We want to get out of that business of giving a political appointee job. You'll see right in the law, it states that nobody can have a party affiliation and be on this board. Nobody can have been serving within the last year in a political office to be on this water board. So from 1994, after the letter was sent to the township, you guys still commenced and proceeded illegally. Now we're asking to let's put all that behind us. Let's not take one more step back. But please, let's take positive steps forward and correct those problems. Mr. Morelli, I know you want this fixed. I'm hearing everything you're saying, and I'm agreeing with a lot of what you're saying. But you have to meet us halfway. You have to understand that there's nobody anywhere else other than water recipients that will have skin in the game.
And that's fine, Terry.
I-
When it gets to that point, we will consider using all.
That's why I just was
That's
saying,
fine.
while you guys are
We've already
creating
said
a new
that.
ordinance,
We've already
there's a
said
great
that.
opportunity to implement some of our wishes. Thank you.
All right.
You have a timeline on when you think you'll put that board together?
I'm sorry.
You have a timeline on, you have a date?
No, we don't have any timeline. Right now, I'm at the point, we're talking to the attorneys. I want the attorneys to put this ordinance together to make sure it's all legal, make sure all the i's are dotted, all the t's are crossed, all the commas are in place. I don't want to go through what we've gone through for the last 45 years. Somebody saying this is right, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is right. I'm going to get it done right, and I want to do it right. It may take a long time.
You know, you going by this Illinois code here, it's Illinois.
I'm going to go by what the state statute says. Yeah, I have to. That's what I made my oath. When I became supervisor, I took an oath of office, and I'm going to follow the law. And I'm going to follow the law. I'm not going to follow what you guys want to accept as law. I'm going to follow the law. And I will do that.
Hey, Ron, if I may say a few things. I understand what your concerns are, especially you bringing up the point about the timeline. Some of you may or may not know, Trustee Bickus and I are the two trustees who have resigned from the Water Board. We decided to come back because in our last meeting, our supervisor had told us that he is making steps, working with an attorney, to do what is right, to go back and try and create another board using other individuals. You have to understand that there is going to be a process. There's probably going to be background checks that applicants for that will be serving on there. Now, to your comment about being a timeline, I guess at this point would be the time to ask, maybe we should set a time when this will be done. Since this is in October, like I said, Greg Bickus and I weren't comfortable being on there, is the way the state statute reads, if this could make it be done by January 1st.
I can't guarantee it'll be done by January 1st, obviously, because I'm got to count on the lawyers getting the work done.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you direct the lawyer that the trustees are requesting that this is done by January 1st, because come January 1st, if there's really not an ordinance, and ordinances should be not that difficult to be created. As of January 1st, I don't know about how Greg feels, but I would probably end up taking myself off the board again if we do not have a committee already set in place. And that's 3 months from now.
Okay.
Since we don't have an attorney here today, can you reach out to the attorney and ask him to have at least a draft for us by next meeting and attend next meeting, so if we do have questions?
And I'll have the attorney here next month.
And if he can have it maybe a week before the meeting, so we could actually,
I can tell you, I can try, but I can't get those lawyers to do what they can.
Well,
I
if he
force
can't
the
do
lawyer
it,
to
then
do something.
maybe we should find another attorney.
Well, maybe we should.
If it takes 7 weeks to get a draft together for an ordinance, then and his events, he's not here. So let's ask him for a cutoff date. In construction, I'm asked for dates to provide things on dates all the time. And if I can't do it, they're gonna find the next guy.
All right.
Hey, I got a question. You was gonna ask Terry a question?
Please come on up.
No, I was just, the fellow right here, you was gonna ask Terry a question. I just wanted to know what you was gonna ask him. Sorry about that.
They're talking to 800 some households using water. Is he one of those?
I'm not asking for a board position, sir.
No,
What does that have to do with it? I'm a taxpaying citizen in the neighborhood. But I'm not asking for a
Terry,
board
please,
position.
you have your time, let him have his. Terry, please, he's had his time.
Let
him speak.
It's
Again, I'm not asking for a position.
Terry,
Town water is their own entity. It's not, there's no taxpayer dollars going into it. It's the people that use the water, they pay for the system. It's that simple.
Can I respond?
If you got so much to say about it, are you are you using water and paying money into this water district? That's all I'm asking. It's a fair question.
Why is it a fair question?
Well, why
So
is
he's asking me a question, can I respond?
Why are you asking that question?
Hold on, he asked me a question, can I
Why are you
respond?
asking that question? That's what I'm
Probably wondering what his concern is.
Right.
Guys, I gotta keep this meeting in order. I appreciate everybody's concern here. Please, please, please. I have the floor here now. Please, let me run this order. Let me keep this meeting in order. I've gone way over the timeline, allowing people to speak. Excuse me, I have this floor. I've given plenty of time for you guys, for the people to speak. I will take in any questions that you want to give me in writing, and I will get to them as quickly as I can. All right? I appreciate everybody's concern. Believe me, this board is not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. This board is trying to do the best we can with the situation that was given to us. We've been doing it the last 6 years the same way it's been done for the last 46 years. I know we want to see some changes now. We have an ordinance that was put in place back in 1974. We're still following that same ordinance. We haven't had an ordinance change since then. Until we change that ordinance, we are the board. We have to be by law. Now we're putting a new ordinance together, and when we get that new ordinance put together, we will accept that ordinance. Both the township board will and this board will, and then we will move forward. But there is a process, and it's going to take some time. I appreciate your patience on this, but this is the lawsuit is something that was left on the table when we all came here. All we did with that lawsuit is try to clean up the mess, and we did. Thank you. Now, can I move on? Utility management, I have nothing. All right, 13 construction. Oh, nothing tonight? Okay. In old business, we have the payment to the town fund for the aqua management lawsuit. I did receive confirmation from our accountant that takes care of most of this, and she says that we can afford it again this month. So she did put the letter in the packet for me to, again, ask for a $5,000 payment. So I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I got a motion by Barb Delaney.
I'll second it.
I got a second by Dean Morelli. Can I have a roll call, please?
Craig Pickett?
Yes.
Barb Delaney?
Yes.
Steve Morelli?
Yes.
Ron Alberico?
Yes. Thank you. On a new business, we have renew our contract with Corporal. Now, this is the contract, and I don't have the paperwork right in front of me. That's the yellow one. Down here, so I know what I'm talking about here. It's for $925. Lump sum. It's the contract that's basically looks after a water tower. They go up and change the aviation lights. They go up and check the inside, protection every year. We've had a standing contract with them for the last few years, I believe, as far as I know. So I need a motion to accept this contract.
The contract is which plane is it?
It's a water tower.
I understand, it's plane C.
Plan C.
Land side.
So it doesn't, is this one do you recommend?
Yeah, the other one, they charge you more for the other, they change some light bulbs to it. So these are just aviation lights on top of the tank.
Okay.
They do that, and then they check, there's a cathodic protection inside the water tank, and
That's not included in this.
it is.
It is?
Well, it says, well, Plan C, that's what Trustee Biggis and I were going over, says 1 through 5 only. The 15 points on what they say for the tank review is not included in this $925.
I don't even get this, so I haven't seen it.
Because I wouldn't be comfortable with just
Yeah, the
agreeing.
cathodic protection is
Yeah, that's-
something you even do mention right there, so I'm
It's not
assuming that's
included in
an
that price.
important
Same, what they come out and do is change the 2 aviation lights. And they number 4, adjust system and optimum corrosion control on submergible metal surface of the tank. Submit report. They do 1 through 5.
But shouldn't they be doing 1 through 15?
I don't know where 15. They will.
They will, you know.
Oh,
Well, my thing is.
Yeah, if you want to pay for all that. Road that, we've never done that. We just do the bare minimum because,
But just once a year, shouldn't we be doing a little more? Like you says with the dotted protection, that's not included in this price. Isn't that kind of important?
Yeah,
It's number
yeah.
10. They're not doing it.
number 4 on that contract, the first page.
See, we're not getting the same thing now. This is what we were given. Now it's
That's
number
not-
10.
No, this is. Yeah, again, I don't get these as town. We just do the.
The 5 things we're checking here is right here.
Don't do that for a lot more money if you want to get a price on it.
well, these are 2 different,
Yeah.
Here's, if you look on the front page,
an annual 15-point tank review then.
Almost looks like we can make a decision on which one we want. If we want to do this, or if we want to do this one, it's the annual cost.
See, like they want on this one, what you're saying, to replace the light bulb, they want $125. If I want a light bulb replaced, I'll replace it myself. But I won't go up on the top of the tank and replace it.
Right.
So we just have them do the basic that I can't do.
When you see the plan, on first page,
Mm-hmm.
right above that.
Right. Those are the only 5 things that they do.
Right.
But what I guess what I'm asking, I guess with your expertise with this, shouldn't they be doing 1 through 15?
I don't believe so. To check the hatch and to change light bulbs that are inside. There's light bulbs inside the tank itself. And they want, like I said, $125 to change that. And actually, between me and you, they do it anyway, because to get up there, they have to change in the seat.
So
now
that
once they get these-
additional, that annual 15-point tank review is an additional option.
Right.
So that's in there.
Like replacing gaskets on the roof hatch, check locks, hinges and gaskets, open tank up, visual water quality, photograph. What are they gonna photograph? Well, look at the tank, you can see it from the ground. And they do it the day before Christmas, where I have to log in.
so I've always taken the advice of the people running the water system for their, it's why we're paying them the money that we are paying them.
I'll make a motion that we go with what they suggested in the
As long as
past.
you're comfortable.
Yeah, that's what they've always done that, right? That's all I think the city does too.
Okay, I got a motion to accept the contract.
And second?
You got a second by Barb. Any other questions? Hearing none, can I have a roll call, please?
Clark Lee,
Yes.
Steve Marley,
Yes.
Mark Alberico,
Yes.
Greg Baker.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. On my chairman's report, I really don't have too much to report here tonight either, other than I haven't really heard from the attorneys in the last 3 weeks on this. I did instruct them both to work together. I'm trying to get some kind of an ordinance put together. It was indicated to me that it probably wouldn't take very long, but then again, I haven't heard anything, so.
Would it help in this situation that you would get a recommendation from the trustees that we would like by the next meeting?
Believe me, after tonight's meeting, I'm going to be on them pretty strong tomorrow morning. I'm not going to be hung out to be beat up. I'm not here to get beat up every day, every meeting. I'm here. I'm trying to get this thing figured out as best I can. You know, but I am going to have to rely on my attorneys for their, that's why we're paying attorneys, to make sure we do it the right way. So yes, I will be talking to the attorneys tomorrow. Other than that, I have no other thing. I don't have any report tonight on the Robinson Engineering study either. Last time we talked, the last meeting, they indicated to me that they had some dates set to get things done, and those dates came and gone, and I haven't heard from them. We reached out to them today.
I just got an email at the last minute, and Larry and I have to answer some questions, so.
Okay.
Some paperwork.
All right.
So they can follow up.
All right, so that's all I have on that report too. So, other than that, I don't have anything else tonight, unless anybody here has something. Yep. And I would ask for an adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
I got a motion by Barb Delaney. Second by Greg Bickus. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, everybody, for your patience today.